Hello, students. This is your President Donald J. Trump speaking. When Mr. Miller asked me to present this PowerPoint notes, I thought, sure, why not? I'm not too busy these days with this whole COVID thing going on. Now, I'd like to say a few things about Mr. Miller first. Quite a guy, that Mr. Miller. Number one teacher, really a standout teacher. Other teachers, total disasters. Most of them. Well, some of them. Mr. Miller, A plus. You might be wondering, well, why would Donald J. Trump give a lesson about levels of organization and organ systems? He's not a doctor. Well, I've been spending enough time with doctors that I could be. I'd probably be better than most doctors. I'd probably be better than some of them. Maybe one in Oregon. Anyway, I'm going to teach you a little bit about the levels of organization.
In most multicellular organisms, cells are organized into tissues. A tissue is a group of similar cells that perform a common function. The function of the spongy tissue in the lung is to take in oxygen and release carbon dioxide. An organ is a collection of tissues that carry out a particular function of the body or specialized task. The function of the lungs is to take oxygen from the air and deliver it to the blood, and take carbon dioxide from the blood and transfer it to the air. An organ system is a set of organs that work together to perform a set of related tasks. The lungs are part of the respiratory system, a group of organs that work together to help you breathe.
That was not me. Just so you know, that was not my voice. That was some lady. One thing I know about its organization, I have to organize a whole country. Mr. Miller has already taught you about cells, tiny little doodads that make up living things, many different types of cells in the human body, each one doing a specific job. Just like in the government, we all need to work together to make the country or human body work. Tissues, cells, different cells working together make up tissues. Many times it's the same cells working together, like muscle cells, but they need other tissues and other cells to work. Examples would be blood tissue. I don't think of blood as a tissue, but it is. Fat, muscle. Let's go ahead and watch this clip about tissues.
The human body has four main types of tissue: nervous, connective, muscle, and epithelial. Nervous tissue contains special cells called neurons that receive and transmit messages in the form of electrical impulses. Connective tissue binds, supports, and protects structures in the body. Bone is a mineralized connective tissue with blood vessels for nourishment. Blood and lymph are also types of connective tissue. Adipose connective tissue is composed of fat cells and lies under the top layers of skin. It helps insulate the body and store energy. Tendons are a type of connective tissue that attaches skeletal muscles to bones. Ligaments are a type of connective tissue that attaches bones to other bones. Muscle tissue is composed of cells that can contract. Cardiac muscle found in your heart pumps blood through the body. Skeletal muscles are attached to your bones and contract to help you move. When you write with a pen or swing a bat, you are using skeletal muscles. Smooth muscle handles body functions that you don't have to think about, such as the movement of food through your digestive system. Epithelial tissue consists of layers of cells that cover all internal and external body surfaces. Your skin is composed of thin layers of epithelial tissue that form a barrier between you and the outside world. Epithelial tissue in your nose and windpipe is thick and lined with hair-like projections called cilia. The cilia help push out foreign particles. Epithelial tissue in your blood vessels, on the other hand, is very thin to allow nutrients and waste to move easily between capillaries and cells.
Well, I hope you learned something there. I did. Here's another clip.
You can think of organisms as being comprised of four primary types of tissues. Those are the epithelial tissues, connective tissues, muscles, and nerves. Now, epithelium consists of cells that are similar in appearance and that are packed together tightly and of regular shape.
Epithelial tissues are basically used as coverings. There would be coverings on the outer part of the body of interface between the organism and its environment. The epithelia may range from being quite impermeable, as the outer layers of our skin, to very, very highly permeable, as to the epithelium that lines the alveoli of our lungs, where diffusion must be rapidly encouraged.
The permeability of the lung's epithelium also makes it more vulnerable to invading organisms. Epithelia and other tissues combine in the organ we call a lung, which in turn joins other organs in a more complex structure called the respiratory system.
Boy, that guy was boring, but not like me. Maybe a little like me. Nothing like me. Let's move on to organs. So those tissues, as they explain, work together to make organs. Most organs have all four types of tissues: connective tissue, epithelial tissue, muscle tissue, and nervous tissue. For instance, the heart has muscle tissue to pump the blood, just like it's pumping blood through me right now, along with connective tissue to hold everything together, epithelial tissue to cover the outsides, and nervous tissue to send signals to pump, pump, pump.
The function of the skeleton for an animal like a human or a horse would be to protect soft tissues. For example, our skull protects our brain, and our vertebral column protects the spinal cord. Another function is that it defines the shape and provides support for the body. The skeleton also provides the basis for muscles to move the body. Muscles are attached to bones, and they function like levers to enable us to walk or locomote in other ways and interact with the surrounding environment.
People don't think of bones as organs, but they are. Some examples of organs would be stomach, liver, heart. Are all organs made up of the same kind of tissue? No, I just said that. Every organ has different kinds of tissue to make it work. Most have all four. Next, organs work together to make up organ systems, perform a specific job. Each part depends on the others. If one fails, the whole system fails, just like the government. If I were to fail, which is not possible, the whole system fails. For instance, the digestive system. Go ahead and watch this clip. Learn more about organ systems.
An organ is a differentiated group of tissues that are specialized for specific functions. An organ system is a group of organs that are linked together, and they all have a similar function, and they work together as a unit. So you go from tissue to organ system.
Animals display one of these organ systems right on the surface. The integument, what we call skin, must withstand the greatest exposure to harsh environmental conditions.
Like all systems, human integument includes different individual organs built of four kinds of tissues. Flexible connective tissue provides the structural support for organs like hair follicles, glands, and blood vessels, yet still allows the skin to bend and give. Nervous tissues form sense organs that detect changes in the environment, such as a drop in temperature. This often causes the integument's muscle tissues to contract, making hairs stand on end with the familiar tingle of goosebumps. Above it all, layers of protective epithelial tissue form the barrier that serves as our first line of defense against the perils of the outside world.
Here's a little more about organ systems. You think you can name all the organ systems? I could. I won't, but I could.
Provide a frame to support and protect body parts. Your skeletal muscles move your bones. Your skin, hair, and nails protect underlying tissue. Your heart pumps blood through all your blood vessels. Your lungs absorb oxygen and release carbon dioxide. Your urinary system removes wastes from the blood and regulates your body's fluids. The male reproductive system produces and delivers sperm. The female reproductive system produces eggs and nourishes and shelters the unborn baby. Your nervous system receives and sends electrical messages throughout your body. Your lymphatic system returns leaked fluids to blood vessels. It also helps you get rid of germs that can harm you. Your digestive system breaks down the food you eat into nutrients that can be absorbed into your bloodstream. Glands regulate body functions by sending out chemical messages. The ovaries in females and testes in males are part of this system.
Whoa, TMI. All right, organisms. An organism is anything that can live on its own, like this frog or this amoeba. Amoeba, that's a funny word. Anyway, made of at least one cell, single cellular, that's like this guy, or multicellular, that's like this guy. I happen to be multicellular. Here we've got a little review about going from cell, like we talked about earlier. Hopefully you were paying attention. Tissue, organ system to organism. Last but not least, we've got a few questions about homeostasis. Your organ systems are constantly working together to achieve homeostasis in your body. Homeostasis, maintaining a stable internal environment. For example, temperature, 98.6 degrees. Correct amount of blood and fluids. Can't lose too much. You'll die. Amount of oxygen, not enough, you die. A lot of people think you need a certain amount of sleep, but I get away with only 2 hours of sleep, and I still maintain homeostasis. Describe 2 situations where your body would need to work to maintain homeostasis. That's that perfect operating level, remember? And how it would do so. How would it keep it constant? Your examples do not need to fit in the boxes. Think outside the box. I like that. I always think outside the box. It looks like Mr. Miller gave you one. I wouldn't even give you one example, but here you go. You were caught outdoors in the cold with no shirt or pants on. Oh boy. Been there. Don't ask why. How would your body react to keep your temperature constant? Careful. It must be your body trying to maintain homeostasis unconsciously. You can't just say, I put on a jacket. That's not homeostasis. It's not your body maintaining homeostasis. Also, it cannot be what happens to your body when homeostasis is not maintained. For instance, hypothermia is when your body fails to maintain homeostasis. Things start to shut down. You are allowed to do some research online. Careful, a lot of fake news online. Don't forget, it has to be what your body is doing to maintain homeostasis. You can't just say you die. Second situation, think of it yourself. Don't just do you get hot or you're really cold. Think of something different, unique. Research it. Type it up right here. All right, fellow Americans. Keep school great. This is Donald J. Trump signing off.